Okay, let's try a thought experiment. What if you could stand on some historic ground and it could tell you its story? I'm not talking about reading a plaque. I mean, actually having a conversation with the past. Well, today we're going to look at a brand new AI that's trying to do exactly that. It's all about giving history a voice.
No, seriously, think about it for a second. Imagine you're standing on, I don't know, an old battlefield or a historic port, and suddenly the story of that exact spot just comes alive all around you. What if you could ask questions and the place itself could answer back? It's a pretty wild idea, and it's the core of what we're digging into today.
And this really lays it out, right? The old way versus the new. On one side, you've got history from a book. You know the drill. Detached facts, abstract dates. It's a total one-way street. But on the other side, we're talking about a completely immersive, interactive dialogue happening right on the spot where it all went down.
And this, right here, is the core of the problem we've always had. There's this huge disconnect. I mean, even with cool stuff like VR, you're usually learning about something in one place and then maybe visiting the actual site later. Those two experiences, they're just never really connected, you know?
So, the big question is, how do you fix that? How do you bridge that gap? Well, there's this project called AI Thoth, and it is tackling this problem head-on. And what's really fascinating is that it's inspired by a very, very old and powerful tradition of storytelling. Okay, so what is AI Thoth? Let's be clear. This is not just another chatbot. It's an AI that's designed to be, and I'm using their term here, self-aware. What that means is it really understands context and its own knowledge. It literally teaches itself history by plugging directly into digital archives, and then, and this is the cool part, it shares what it's learned through these super realistic digital humans that you can actually talk to.
And the creators have this incredible name for it. They call it a digital griot. Now, if you're not familiar with the term, a griot is a traditional West African historian, a storyteller, a musician, basically the living, breathing library of a community's oral history. So AI Thoth is being built to be a digital version of that same vital role. It's a really powerful concept.
So let's connect all these dots real quick. You've got the AI's self-awareness, which lets it understand context, not just spit out random facts. It learns all on its own from secure historical archives, so its knowledge is constantly growing. And then it presents all this info not as boring text, but through these super lifelike digital avatars. The end result is a mixed reality experience that genuinely blends the digital world with the real one around you.
All right, I know this all might sound a little bit abstract, a little sci-fi, so let's bring it back down to earth with a real and really powerful first case study. AI Thought's very first mission is to tell the story of a young man named William Tucker.
Now, to really get why this is so significant, you need a little bit of context. So back in 1619, the first Africans arrived at Port Comfort, Virginia. Among them were a man named Anthony and a woman named Isabella. Just a few years later, around 1624, their son, William Tucker, was born, and he was the very first child of African descent born in the English colonies in America. A huge historical moment. But, get this. This is the part that makes this whole project truly extraordinary. You might be wondering, who's building this cutting-edge AI to tell William Tucker's story? Well, it's his own direct genetic descendants. For them, this isn't just history class. This is family. They're using the most advanced 21st century tech to tell the story of their own 17th century ancestor. I mean, wow. And just look at the team they've put together for this. You've got that deeply personal ancestral connection from Dr. Japheth Tucker Doswell and Brenda Tucker. Then, you combine that with the incredible historical expertise of Dr. Joanne Martin from the National Great Blacks and Wax Museum, and you top it all off with the tech vision of Dr. Cyrus Green. It's that perfect mix, personal passion, serious academic knowledge, and cutting-edge tech that makes this whole thing possible.
Okay, so we have this incredible story, we've got a super passionate team, but how does the tech actually work? You know, how does AI Thought go from a dusty digital archive to a living, breathing conversation? Let's break down the process. It's actually pretty straightforward.
It really comes down to 3 basic steps. First up, access. The AI plugs in securely to these huge digital libraries and historical records. Step 2, learn. It just starts studying all that information on its own, connecting the dots, figuring out timelines, and building this really deep base of knowledge. And finally, present. It takes everything it's learned and sort of codifies it into a personality, which it then presents through an interactive digital human that's ready to chat.
So what does this mean for you, the user? Well, the end result is pretty amazing. Imagine you're standing right there at Port Comfort in Virginia. You look through your phone or maybe some mixed reality glasses, and a digital guide just appears. And this guide, powered by AI Thoth, can tell you the whole story of Isabella and Anthony's arrival, of William Tucker's birth, right there on the very spot where it all happened.
Look, this is way more than just a cool tech demo. The team behind AI Thoth has a much bigger mission here. They're aiming for something that could fundamentally change how we all learn about civics and about our shared past.
Yeah, at its heart, the real mission is to advance civics education for everyone. It's about highlighting the absolutely crucial contributions of the African diaspora and showing how their skills and their knowledge were fundamental in building America. The core hypothesis here is that this kind of immersive, on-location storytelling, it's not just more fun, it's a fundamentally better and more powerful way to learn.
So if there's one thing to take away, it's this idea of transformation. What we're seeing is a real shift away from history just being this passive collection of facts you read in a book. The whole point of this tech is to turn it into a living, breathing story that you can literally step inside of and interact with. And that really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. If this technology can give a voice to the story of William Tucker, a story from 400 years ago, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other stories, big or small, from our collective past are just sitting there, waiting for the right tool to finally bring them to life?